Look closely at every mammal on Earth. The majestic lion with its golden mane, the silverback gorilla wrapped in thick, protective fur, the wolf, designed to survive freezing blizzards. Every primate, every single one of our closest genetic cousins, is covered head to toe in a dense natural coat. Except us. We are the anomaly, the outlier, the naked ape. To modernize, bare skin feels completely normal. But in the ruthless arena of nature, losing your fur is pure madness. Fur isn't just aesthetic, it's armor. It shields against razor-sharp sun rays. It wards off venomous insects. It locks in heat during freezing nights. Yet somewhere along our evolutionary timeline, millions of years ago, our ancestors gave up their armor. They stripped off their coats and walked into a brutal world completely bare. Why did evolution commit what seems like an unthinkable act of self-sabotage? What forced early humans to shed their hair? The answer isn't just a quirky biological detail. It is the secret origin story of how we became the most dangerous predator on planet Earth. Before we uncover why we lost our hair, we have to address a massive scientific misconception. If you look down at your arm right now, you might think you're mostly hairless. But biology reveals a chilling trick. You haven't actually lost your hair follicles at all. An adult human has approximately 5 million hair follicles across their body. Do you know how many hair follicles a full-grown chimpanzee has? Roughly 5 million. Inch for inch, humans have the exact same follicle density as an ape of our size. So what happened? We didn't erase our hair. Evolution did something far more subtle and far more disturbing. It shrank it. Over millions of years, human genes systematically mutated the hair-building process. Our body fur was downgraded into microscopic, translucent fibers called vellus hair. We kept the roots, but rendered the coat invisible. And this raises an even deeper mystery. Why would nature waste the energy to keep millions of invisible hair roots active across our skin while deliberately shrinking the hair itself? To solve this, we have to rewind the clock 6 million years to a world that was literally collapsing. 6 million years ago, East Africa began to change. The lush, shaded tropical rainforests, the ancestral home of early hominins, started to shrink due to massive climate shifts. The endless canopy vanished. In its place emerged the open, relentless African savanna. Our ancestors were forced out of the trees and onto the ground. They had to walk, they had to forage, and most importantly, they had to face the sun. In the forest, thick fur was a blessing. In the open savanna, under a midday sun reaching over 40 degrees Celsius, thick fur became a death sentence. Think about what happens to a predator like a cheetah or a lion. They are built for short bursts of intense speed. But after a few hundred meters, their body temperature spikes so violently that they must stop, collapse into the shade, and pant for hours just to cool their brains down. Fur traps heat like a furnace. Early humans didn't have sharp claws. We didn't have crushing jaws. We couldn't outrun a leopard in a short sprint. If we were going to survive in the open heat, we needed a weapon no other animal possessed. We needed a revolution in thermal dynamics. Enter the ultimate evolutionary trade-off: thermoregulation. Human evolution made a radical bet. It paired hair reduction with the expansion of a specialized cooling system: eccrine sweat glands. Most mammals cool down by panting or through limited scent glands. Humans developed up to 4 million eccrine glands, capable of secreting liquid directly onto bare skin. As sweat evaporates off bare, exposed skin, it pulls heat directly out of the bloodstream. It is the most efficient biological cooling mechanism ever invented on Earth. If we still had thick fur, sweat would simply trap moisture, mat the hair, and prevent evaporation. The sweat would bake us alive. By turning our fur invisible, our skin became a radiator. Think about what this unlocked. While every lethal predator on the savanna had to hide in the shade during the hottest hours of the day to avoid heat stroke, early humans could walk straight into the noon sun. We became endurance hunters. We didn't outrun animals with speed. We chased them slowly under the brutal sun until their fur-covered bodies overheated and collapsed from thermal exhaustion. Bare skin wasn't a vulnerability. It was our superpower. But cooling down isn't the whole story. Evolution rarely operates on a single variable. A second, darker force was pushing us to shed our fur. The parasite war. Fur is a paradise for biological terror. Ticks, fleas, lice, and flies thrive in thick hair. They carry pathogens, spread bloodborne diseases, and weaken entire animal tribes. As early humans grew smarter, harnessed fire, and started living in close-knit cave communities, fur turned into a biological hazard, a nest for disease. Scientists theorize that less hairy individuals suffered fewer parasite infections. They survived longer, looked healthier, and were selected more frequently as mates. Naked skin became a visual signal of health and purity. Once we mastered fire for warmth at night and eventually created primitive clothing, the primary evolutionary reason to keep thick fur vanished overnight. Which brings us to a fascinating question. If bare skin was such a triumph, why didn't we lose all of our hair? Why did evolution leave dense patches on top of our heads, under our arms, and around our groin? The answers reveal just how precise natural selection really is. First, scalp hair. When you stand upright under the equatorial sun, your head receives the most direct UV radiation. The thick hair on your scalp acts as a solar shield, protecting your brain, our most critical organ, from overheating and solar damage. Second, pubic and underarm hair. These regions are rich in apocrine glands that release chemical signals called pheromones. Hair in these friction-heavy zones serves two purposes. It reduces skin-on-skin chafing during movement, and it acts as a scent wick, trapping and broadcasting chemical maturity to potential mates. Every single strand left on your body is there by deliberate design. When you step back and look at the trajectory of human history, losing our fur was the catalyst that changed everything. Shedding our hair allowed us to run longer distances. Running longer distances allowed us to hunt high-protein meat. High-protein meat fueled the explosive growth of our brains. And a larger brain gave us tools, language, fire, and culture. We surrendered our natural warmth so we could build our own. We sacrificed our physical armor so we could develop the intelligence to conquer the planet. Remember, that bare skin isn't a sign of weakness. It is the ancient, visible proof of a species that adapted, survived, and ran its way to the top of the world. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more mind-blowing mysteries explained.